So before we start, we're going to be recording this session. If you don't feel comfortable, you can turn off the camera or you can continue with the camera open. So we also want, so together, Who is Ventures, together we're working as a better economic future where zip code, race, gender, immigration status does not dictate income or wealth. So in Ventures, we have 5 programs that are in our work, and that is ALAS, Familias con Más Futuro, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Semillitas on DACA Fund, and we also do advocacy. So talking about problem, policies, and things that we can fix in our community. What is future? The objective of future is to create for future generations and of generations of wealth, of low income of the valley of Monterey Valley, including the counties of Santa Cruz, Monterey, and San Benito, that prioritize women and immigrants. So this program, we're still building it, we're still developing it, and we have been developing it through the past years, and we have involve the community so we can design this program. And this program is designed by you, the community, and what do you want? So the coming months, we are going to start to look for different people that want to start a co-op. Whoever is interested, please let us know. Fill out our form at the end of the presentation. And also, if you want to talk to us, where we're going to give us our contact information so you can also get in touch with us. So today our panelist is going to be Melissa Camacho Gonzalez, Home Support and Companionship, and Sadie Leos from Dolores Street Community Service. If you want to take a time, any person can start. So please, so you can introduce yourselves. So Sadie, do you want to start? Well, I'll start. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Melissa Camacho, and I'm Mexican. I'm an immigrant, and I am also I'm a single mother. And for me, it is like something really beautiful to be part of a co-op because one of our dreams was precisely to have my own business. So we are in San Francisco, and right now we're on the process of opening our co-op. Our co-op is takes care of adults, and I'm one of the members, administrative members. Right now, I think it's kind of like a brief introduction, right? Or do I have to go more into detail? So I just have to introduce myself briefly? Yes. Okay. So it is a pleasure to be here. So I'm going to give the mic to Sadie. Thank you so much, Melly. Hi to everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with you. My name is Sadie Leos, and I'm Mexican. I was born in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, and currently I am working by Dolores Street Community Services in San Francisco. And we have incubated and created the first co-op of senior care in San Francisco, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. So we have to start our discussion. So you can take turns, whoever wants to start first. But can you explain a general version of what is a co-op and how is it different from other type of businesses or organizations, please? So the difference from a business and a co-op is that we're all worker owners. Normally, we're used to a model when we have one owner and we're all employees. So most of the earnings is for the owner, and he just gives us a salary. But when we're part of a co-op model, all of us, we receive the same amount. Why? Because we're our worker owners and we're all associates. But there's also certain differences because an owner is responsible to administer, to talk with clients, and we just go as employees. But when also it's worker owned, we not just take care of our clients, we also have to learn things of how to be an owner. And another challenge is to work in collaboration with our peers. For example, we are 19 members, and one of the biggest challenges is to be able to work all together and organize ourselves. And right now, we have had a lot of support from Dolores' history, especially from Sadie. She has been the person that has guided us in this process. But basically, that is what a co op is. As Melissa says, it is a business model where the member, it's a co op. It's created for several members, and each member is an owner and a worker. So you develop abilities and capabilities as an owner and also as a worker. You have responsibilities as an owner, as a worker too. And also you have benefits as an owner and benefits as a worker. So, so yes, you can tell us a little bit more about the responsibilities that a employee has and the responsibilities of somebody that is an owner of a co-op. What are the different type of responsibilities? A few examples, please. Go ahead. You can go and then I'll comment something. So the responsibility that I see as an owner is to understand a business, create the capabilities like understand finances, taxes, how to make decisions, how to create marketing, how to make a brand, how to work with clients. So develop all the area that an owner does when they create a business. For example, when you're going to open a cafeteria, you need to learn all the abilities that you need to create a cafeteria, to learn to do the coffee, learn to do everything. It's the same with a co-op. Once you decide to work on a certain line, you have to learn those capabilities so you can be an owner, since how to manage accounting until how to do the certifications that you need to open the business. And as a worker, the responsibilities to also to learn to make decisions, to have a responsibility at work, and also to have an equitable standard in the quality that you're going to give to your client, and also all the certifications that you need to be able to develop the job. Those are the areas surrounding responsibilities. And Meli, if you can share the area, I already talked about responsibility. Why don't you talk about the rights, something positive about being an owner and to be a worker-owned co-op? Talking, it's a big difference. In a co-op, you are going to be an owner, and what it implies to be an owner is you're also going to receive the profits distributed. So when you're an employee, you just have a salary, but you don't have the opportunity to make your business grow. Or if your business grows, you don't have more profit because all that money goes to the owner. But in a co-op, one of those benefits is that all of us are going to receive the same amount of money. And the other is that we all have a vote. When we decide what that we're going to do, each member has one vote. So the decisions, we take them together, and usually we're not used to be taking into consideration. The owner decides, and the employees just have to do what the owner says. In a co-op, no. We all get organized and we all have to vote if we agree or against a decision. So that's one of the other benefits. Another of the rights that I can see is that we can also choose our benefits or insurance or our health insurance. And that is something that you don't have when you work in a company because usually you go to the company and they already have something established. But in our case, we can look for something that's more beneficial to all of us. There's a lot of advantage, even the way, when you're an owner of your own business, you can also do your work better because you can also say, okay, even in your contract, what you're going to do and what I'm not going to do, but what I consider fair. So when you just arrive at a company, you don't have that opportunity. You have to say what they're saying, and you don't have the opportunity to form your own business. So I see that there's a lot of benefits of having a co-op. Thank you. So I have another question. So if somebody wants to get involved in creating a co-op, where can you start? Is it something that you need to go with an organization, or it's something that you can do with your family members or workers? We can talk a little bit about how the process. So there's two type of paths that currently or nationally or have always exist. So in other parts of the world, it's the same. It's so the community gets together and they build it. Logically, you have to look for people that have the knowledge and that help you to do what? It's governance, how to comply with the law within the business and have your operating agreement and manuals that you have to have to manage the business. But there's also the type of person that decides, as you say, to join an organization that is about to create a co-op, and then you're part of that team and you start to develop your abilities or you start to get certified and start being part of the co-op. So I think there's those two lines where the community makes that decision, but it's good for you to look ba- bases and people that can help you to initiate, or in this case, my best advice is that you can also approach an organization that wants to support. Yes, for example, I was new in this cop world, and there's a lot of opportunities of training and skill building. They finance it. I was able to go to Washington to a conference and learn about co-ops. And there's a school in Italia that they're very advanced with the co-op. So I think honestly, there's a lot of benefits and helps. There's also other co-ops that have like semillas or seeds, and they give seed money for the new co-ops. So as Sadie says, if you want to form your co-op, so it's just to look. So I think the most recommendable thing is to look for a foundation where they can help you at the beginning, because at the beginning is the hardest part when the business is starting to develop, but afterwards the business can have success. But honestly, I'm very impressed because I did not know, I didn't even know that there were so many co-ops and there was so much support for for co-ops. And I want to ask, what type of co-op can exist? Businesses, or it could be any type of business. Well, to be honest, there's not a limit of what is your line of work. The important thing is that you have to look for a market research that is first to observe the market to see what need you can meet, so you can see what is the area that more meets your needs, or what are the areas that you want to open your business towards and start. I don't think that there's one line that say it can only be like care. or a supermarket. No, co-ops does not have to adjust to one type of work. Any type of business can be a co-op. Melissa, I want to ask, what has been the hardest to start the co-op in in your experience? For me, at the beginning, the hardest was to understand the co-op model because to understand that you're an owner and that you're owner and a worker at the same time, it's something new because I always came from a model where it's the boss and I'm the employee, and now no, I'm also the owner. So one of the biggest difficulties, but also they have helped me so much to grow professionally, is that I took trainings, marketing trainings, accounting, to be able to create a brand, to learn about websites, and also course trainings like from first aid. So honestly, you really have to train yourself so you can really grow and have success in these co-ops. I think it's a big challenge, but at the same time, I think that this is a something wonderful because it's going to give me so much so I can develop, and it's something that I'm also going to be able to leave to my children, and all the members that are in the co-op have the same idea to be able to achieve your dream, to have your own business, be an owner. And what comes to mind when you're talking about the co-ops, so the different associates that you're going to find, how can you pick people that join the co-op? Like, for example, there are businesses, sometimes there's structures, or there's somebody that's up, there's a supervisor, the manager, and then the general manager in a co-op. How do you how do you determine this? So we have committees. That is something that we do within the co-op. And as you say, it's how some departments within a business. So the committee determines certain roles. So for example, there's finance committee that supervises and observe accounting. Logically, they're not experts, but they have enough knowledge. They can observe what the accounting is doing. They observe what the bookkeeper, the accounts, so they control and knowledge. And then there's a committee, operations committee. Each co-op decides what committees are best. In our case, we have the finance committee, operations committee, communications, client, customer service, and the administrative committee is where Melissa is. So each one of them have a role, and that allows us that the business can work as an organized structure. And another thing that came to mind, for example, Melissa said, all in a co-op, it's something democratic. We all have a vote. So what if there's a situation that you don't agree with? Because we all have different points of views and ideas. So how do you manage these differences? Well, for to be able to get to this point of a co-op, first of all, we had to have a training. And the training was precisely how to make decisions. And also we have the facilitator because sometimes there's people that do not agree and other do. So we just try to focus on the facilitator that's going to be able to look at this conflict. And the ID, for example, Saidi is a special member, but she's the one that has been always training us and saying, okay, so we're going to make this decision. She's kind of like the one that has led us how to and has showed us how to make decisions as a group. It is a process. There's always conflicts, but the most important thing is communication. And once that we understand, we are able to resolve the conflicts. So we also have some rules for some votes. So for example, when there's a member that we have to suspend but there's also decisions that are more simple that the committees can make or the special member with the administrator. So all that structure makes the co-op flow in a better way. But it's very important that from the beginning, we try to have everything like the membership, all of that gives you structure. Yes, as Melissa says, it is so important that all everything is in two basic things for a co-op. It's the cooperative agreement and the member manual. Those are the ones that are going to show us how we're going to make decisions, how we're going to divide profits, who is responsible of what, how we are from the beginning to the big important decisions, as Melissa says. So we can also have and make the best decisions within the co-op. Thank you. I have so many questions. For example, in this situation, Melissa and anybody can answer. But Melissa, you started the co-op that we're what in the future somebody wants to be part of the co-op. What is the process to be able to be part of it? That is a very good question because yes, for us, so a new member can join us. We also have to give a training before he starts. So that person first sees what a cooperative is, and also they have to be aware to wanting to be part of the cooperative and understand what it is. So that's one of the first requirements. And then she would have to take some trainings like the ones that we did, like, for example, first aids. We took a lot of trainings. And once they have complied with all of that, for a time, he is kind of like incubation because you have to make that decision and say, okay, I saw how the co op is working and we're going to commit to be part of it. And then all of us have to agree and vote that that person is going to be part of the co-op because also it is a process where the person has to be working, not working, but training. So we're going to decide if he stays or doesn't stay. Another question. So we didn't talk enough about money, and I want to ask because I think a lot of people are going to think, how do you decide how much you're going to pay yourselves? And how does that work? Because it's a little different from a normal job. Because in a normal job, you're an employee, there's a payroll, the manager has his salary and the rest have other salaries. How do you how do you make that decisions? How do you distribute the profits? Generally, it has to be within the operating agreement, but we do it this way. As you say, it is so different to a normal company where they just pay you every month or every 15 days, but the co-op is different. After that, you see how what's the market fit. So with that market research, you have to analyze your competition. And once you have the fixed price for your services, like hour or month or week, you're going to take from that amount what is going to be the fixed amount that you're going to have as owner. and what is going to be the percentage that you're going to go to the co-op. So you can pay like all the overhead. For example, insurances, rent, everything that has to do with the business is covered for that with that percentage. For example, in the co-op that Melissa and that I'm supporting, it's $40 an hour. 25 goes directly to the worker owner, and 15 is used to cover the amount that you need, the overhead, so the co-op continues existing. All the set payments like rent, uniforms, training, certifications, insurance, all those details are covered. So it's important that once that you put the amount that you're going to start your work with, you put it also in the operating agreement so you know what the percentage that's going to go for payment for the owner and the percentage that is going to cover the overhead of the co-op. I also wanted to add that there is advantages. For example, we work all year, and from those 40, we earn 25, but 15 is in the co-op. For example, if everything went well, so there's going to be an amount. What's going to happen in the business? The owner is going to keep that profit, but we're going to decide if we leave it so we can invest or if we want that money at the end of the year. So profit is not going to be lost. We're going to have them there. Another thing we can decide, we want a good medical insurance, so we're going to hire it. And from those 15, it's going to be to pay that insurance. That's another of the advantages. There's so many advantages because you can choose the services and what you're going to buy. And if money is left over, it's going to go directly to us. It sounds a little complicated, but at the end, that happens when we work because they take taxes. But at the end, we decide where that money is going. And if there's something left over, we get it back at the end of the year. Thank you. So, Melissa, you have talked about different courses and trainings. Can you tell us a little bit? Or you can tell us about your favorite class or one of the trainings that you learned the most that opened your eyes and changed totally your vision? Well, I think everything have been so useful. For example, marketing that was so important because I didn't have the notion of marketing, of how important a brand is. Accounting is so important too because honestly, we all had headaches. But I understood how taxes work, why they take so much money away from our payroll, and they did open my mind. That's how it works. Another of the things it was first aid and everything that we learned to help our senior citizens learn how to get dressed, to feed them. I even learned how to carry heavy objects. So in that training, they showed me how to carry heavy objects, how we can what is the correct way to feed them, how to pass from the bed to the chair. So since I started this project, I do feel I have improved. As an employee, we don't always have that opportunity to really get to know so much. Here's your work and you have to do it. But when you're an owner, you have to be trained. And from this moment, I opened another business that is mine because I also have I have the knowledge, I have the foundation. So this has helped me so much. Right now, you talked a little bit about finances, about a business. Can you talk a little bit or give us examples or help the people that are hearing to understand that sometimes we don't need to know everything. we can hire other businesses or services that can do the accounting. You can tell us a little bit that you shouldn't learn mathematics from one day to the other, but there are services that can help you. Of course, as you say, generally, the members of the co-op, they're not experts in in algebra or anything, or they don't have certification in that area. They just understand how to do things. So they know, so you know, so it's not a surprise. As you say, at the end of each month, we have a bookkeeper that it's our bookkeeper. They helps us to take control and to manage and and they each member has contact with that bookkeeper, and once a month he puts 2 hours, set aside 2 hours so he can review everything to answer questions and to see how everything is being managed and everything have a good and clear accounting. You don't have to be an expert, but they show you so you have a knowledge and it's everything is transparent, but you can hire service in a particular way. Another thing that I wanted at the beginning, you can hire the service individually, but if you want to learn, that is a great opportunity that you have because they're training you. For example, me as an administrator, we're hiring that service, but my goal is that long term I can do it. Why? Because I'm learning it. So those are of the advantages when you do the things and you have the opportunity to participate in different areas. Also, the committee members, maybe at the beginning we were needing help, but then we don't need it that much because we are going to be able to do it. Thank you. So we're going to open discussion if you agree with this. Somebody, do you have a question for Cindy or Melissa? We can put it in the chat. You can ask any questions. Somebody said, I have a question to do the work or the labor. Do the members do it, or can you employ other non-members if you need more people? Part of a co-op is that you are a member and you're a worker. So you are the person. At the same time, we don't hire a person that comes to do the work. No, it can't be like only member and hire somebody to be the worker. You are the worker owner. You are the worker and you are the owner and you have those both functions. Somebody else has a question? Good afternoon. I'm Marita Zarate, and I would like to ask because I understood a little bit about a co-op is, but I would like to ask specifically to Melissa, what is your business about? For example, I know it could be different, but for example, it has to be agriculture or any business can be a co-op. Our business we do is we take care of senior citizens. We we help them and we give them their medicine. We help them to change. And this was or get dressed. investigating the area that needed or where there was more clients, it was that area. So that is why we decided to do our co-op at that area. But the co-op can be from anything. I think, like Sadie said, depending on the need. If where you live, you do agriculture, well, then you can do a agriculture co-op. That is the nice thing about co-ops. But it is important to consider, as I said, it's supply and demand. If you know that there's a market need, so you have to take it because you're going to have to know that there's client. And that's the basic. But the co-op can, I don't know if you want to do a co-op. What have you thought about your co-op being? What type of service would you like to offer if you have thought about establishing a co-op? I don't have anything in mind. And because what I hear, there's a lot of agriculture and a lot of people that learn how to harvest their land. And maybe I thought it was only about this, but I like to lead to any area. What you need in your region, it doesn't have to be for agricultural workers or farm workers. It could be in any area. For example, in San Francisco, there's bakeries that are co-ops. There's some markets that sell organic products. So there's a lot of different co-ops. So, for example, that you were in this area of agriculture, there's a lot of support so you can open a co-op in your area. You just have to do some research. There's a lot of co-ops. That's where co-ops were born, and they're focused on agriculture. So it's something, it doesn't matter as long as you know the market and your area. If you know that this is your area, Maria, go ahead. Go for it. I had a question. I don't know if you can hear me. Am I off mute? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you. My question is, we like bakeries and we have talked that we live in a small town, but we would like to have a business in the future. How many people we can start a co-op? Go ahead, I'm sorry. Is there, for example, I have heard that suddenly what would happen if there's for example, if they steal the money or, there's so many people. How many people can really, you can start a business, a co-op, and avoid being robbed? It starts with two people or more. So it is it's you and another person. That is the beginning. It doesn't have to be a big amount, and minimum is two. So a co-op is a business that depends on how many people do you want to bring in. And when you talk about, I understand that there can be embezzlement and it's a worry, but the benefit of the co-op is that everything is going to be written in the contract and the co-op agreement. And because it is an equity business, all of us are the same. You contribute the same amount that the other person. Earnings are the same, losses are the same. So we couldn't really, that doesn't happen because it's all the same from the beginning, and we're all going to manage it the same from the beginning to end. Therefore, we can avoid all those worries about embezzlement. It's like robbing ourselves. I think that would be yes, but I'm harming myself because I'm taking money that is mine too. For example, I'm a administered member, but I can't. check, sign a check. I'm going to go on a vacation. There's a finance committee, and if there's a money-making decision, they have to authorize it. It's not just one person. It had a lot of people that have to authorize an expense, and that's another advantage that we have, that there's committees, that they're vigilant, that everything works well. Thank you. Thank you for answering my question. So I can't go to Disney because I don't let. I can. I'm checking on her. I have her. There's another question in the chat. Maria Jesus Sanchez says, "Do you need a social security number?" One of the advantages to be in California is that the law has this clause that allows us that you don't have to have a social security number to be part of a co-op, because the co-op is registered as an LLC, as a company of limited responsibility, limited liability co-op, co-op corporation, limited liability corporation. So when you belong to that net, you just need an IT. It's just a tax number. So you really don't need to have a social security. Melissa, none of them have a social security number. To be honest, it is an opportunity. It's a dream because we're all people that are not documented. For a moment, I thought, no, I'm never going to be able to have my own business. And to be honest, we do have this opportunity. So there's a lot of myth and things, but we are proof and that we're doing it. So if you don't have a social security number, don't get discouraged. We're doing it and we are able to do it. We have other questions. Please ask. That's what we're here for. Ask, ask. So this is when. There's going to be more, but this is a good moment to ask. Thank you so much for all your answers. I have a question. Go ahead. If somebody, so if you want to attend one of the meetings, can you just go to the meetings or do you have to be part? I don't think I heard the question that clearly. So if you're going to keep on having these type of meetings, for example, can we invite more people or oh, how can we invite more people so more people learn about this? Yes, we're going to have more. If you can invite more people and people who you want to open your business with, it's fine. You can invite more people. How you heard about this meeting? Because I am the Academy group and Veronica put the message yesterday. Yes. So we'll send you the invitation to different organizations. So it's possible. We're going to send you the invitation we're going to put our contact. So if you put in the chat, we also have a form where you can put your email and that we can send you more information or even through text. We can send you messages through text. Any more questions? Melissa or Cindy, do you have something else or anything else that you want to add? One of the things that maybe a lot of people forget, that Melissa said it, and I think it's very important that I would like to bring it again. What are the challenges that we find in a co-op? So, as simple as you're going to work as a team, well, decision making, how we make decisions, how we're going to do things as a team. Because as people, as Brandon said too, we're all different personalities, different, we have different motivations. So the co-op also is going to help you to learn how to take that leadership, how to have that capabilities. I have to find a way to have a solution and at the same time it benefits all because this is my business and I also want this to work. So I think it's an opportunity that is going to give you so you can project yourself as a leader and it's going to allow you, as Belisa said, to create a future and to mark a difference in the business, in the model, your city, your small community. So I think it's a great advantage, the co-op world, because it's not going to help you to form a business, but to form yourself as a person. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone because you were here with me. For me, it is a big, it says worker owner, and I'm so proud to show you my badge. For me to even think that I'm a owner, it still impresses me. I know what it is to be immigrant, not to speak English, and all those challenges that we go through. But also, there is an opportunity to get ahead. I come today in representation of my other peers. We're 19 families with a dream and we invite you to do it because it doesn't it's not important the age. The only barrier is your mind. But if you want to do it, we're able to do it. And thank you for inviting us. Thank you. Thank you so much, Melissa and Cindy. I'm gonna give you one more chance. If somebody has a question before we close the chat and the panel, if somebody wants to ask something. So I'm going to pass it to Odalis and Kayla. They're going to ask about evaluation. Hi, good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? So in a few minutes, we're going to send a link so you can put your name and your information so that way we can communicate with you for our next panel discussions about co-op so you can learn a little bit more. And also you can put questions, doubts, anything so we can cover it for our next meeting and have answers. So we can also fund more businesses like this that is so important that so you can be your own owners. And it's a big change. That would be all on my part. So this is our information. If you guys want to contact us or if you have any questions, please let us know. Also, if you want to talk to Sadie or Melissa, we can get in contact. If you have questions or anything you want to ask through email, or you can call us. But yeah, that's our contact information. Thank you so much for all of you. We are so happy when people come to our discussion so you guys can learn. And thank you. Thank you all for being here. And please take this minute to fill out this evaluation, and then we can invite you to next discussion. And we're also going to have different panelists. So there's going to be different people from different organizations. But today I want to say thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you so much. And I hope you have a great night. Thank you all for coming. Today is our pleasure. Thank you for inviting us. And have a good night, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Thank you so much for coming.